4 to 8 years. That is exactly how long it realistically takes to go from a student visa to permanent residency. Look, if you're choosing where to study right now, or maybe you're already studying abroad in Australia or New Zealand in 2026, you absolutely cannot afford to just figure it out as you go. It is a highly competitive, multi-year strategic campaign. You need a playbook. So yeah, 4 to 8 years. Like I just said, that is the real, honest timeline. I know way too many students who arrive thinking graduation basically equals a passport, but the reality? That actual study period is literally just phase 1. You're embarking on a half-decade or longer commitment, and it requires meticulous planning right from day one.
In this explainer, here's what we're going to cover. 1. The real timeline. 2. Post-study visas. 3. Earning points. 4. Top PR fields. And 5. Fatal mistakes.
Section 1. The real PR timeline.
All right, let's map this out. Years 1 through 3, that's typically your student visa phase, like Australia's subclass 500. Then, after you graduate, years 3 through 6 are spent on a post-study work visa. This is absolutely crucial because this is where you actually get the hands-on work experience you need to migrate. Then, moving into years 6 and 7, you have to go through strict skills assessments from authorities like Engineers Australia or Vet Assess. And finally, years 7 and 8, that's when you're actually sitting in the queue for your permanent residency visa application. This sequence is pretty much non-negotiable. If you plan backwards from your target PR date, you can hit every single one of these milestones right on time.
Section 2. The bridge, post-study work visas.
Now, there's actually a pretty stark contrast in the 2026 policies. Over in Australia, the subclass 485 temporary graduate visa gives you 2 to 3 years of full work rates. But, and this is a big but, recent changes just dropped the age cap down to 35 for most applicants unless you're a PhD grad or a Hong Kong passport holder. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, their post-study work visa gives you 1 to 3 years of work rights, completely depending on your qualification level. Plus, launching in November 2026, New Zealand is rolling out a brand new 6-month short-term graduate work visa. It gives you open work rights, basically giving you a buffer to find a job and transition to an accredited employer work visa. Either way, these visas, they are your ticking clock to grab that local experience.
Section 3. The strategy, earning PR points. Okay, so how does this actually work? It really comes down to understanding how your work experience literally translates into points. In Australia, for visas like the 189, 190, or 491, 1 year of Australian skilled employment gives you 5 points. 3 years, that's 10 points. And while the technical bare minimum to apply is 65 points, let's be real, your actual target to get an invitation needs to be between 85 and 95 points. New Zealand's skilled migrant category, or SMC, uses a totally different scale. You need exactly 6 points to qualify. You claim 1 point for 1 year of skilled New Zealand work experience, capping out at 3 points for 3 years, with your degree or occupational registration filling in the rest. In both countries, though, every single month of relevant experience strengthens your position.
If we zero in on Australia for a second, you really need to understand these massive point boosters. Being between the ages of 25 and 32, that nets you the maximum 30 points. Nailing superior English adds a massive 20 points. And here's where strategy is a total game changer. Studying in a regional area gives you 5 points, and scoring a regional subclass 491 state nomination gives you an incredible 15 points. That means heading outside the major cities and filling regional needs can honestly make or break your entire application.
Section 4. The tactics, high-yield courses.
Let's be honest. Choosing the wrong course is the absolute easiest way to fail. You've got to target fields that actually lead somewhere. Nursing and aged care, they are consistently on the critical shortage lists. Trades, think carpentry, wall and floor tiling, painting. Yes, even a Certificate 3-level course in these can lead straight to the medium and long-term strategic skills lists in Australia. IT, especially cybersecurity, along with teaching, social work, and lab science, are all exceptionally high yield right now. For New Zealand, it's all about aligning your studies with roles that meet their specific median wage thresholds or occupational registration requirements, so you easily hit that magic 6-point target. Remember, it's about market demand, not just your personal passion.
Section 5. Fatal errors, mistakes that ruin PR.
Mistake number 1 is honestly just tragic, wasting your graduate visa in an unrelated, non-skilled job. If you burn through those 2 or 3 years working in a role that has absolutely nothing to do with what you studied or isn't classified as skilled work, you earn exactly 0 work experience points. 0. Your PR timeline literally stalls out. You absolutely must use this time for relevant experience.
Then we have mistake number 2, completely ignoring regional study bonuses. Like we just talked about, regional study and state nominations offer massive points advantages, literally up to 20 extra points combined for that Australian 491 visa. If you stubbornly stick to the major metropolitan cities, you're leaving highly competitive critical points right on the table.
And finally, mistake number 3, underestimating the English score requirement. Look, having competent English might technically be enough to submit an application, but it gives you 0 extra points. Hitting superior English, like an IELTS 8 or PTE 79, that hands you 20 points. Settling for the bare minimum can completely tank your chances of rising to the top of that invitation pool.
So, what does this all mean for you? I really want to leave you with this question to think about today. Is your current or planned course a strategic pathway to residency, or is it just a very expensive piece of paper? The 2026 rules highly reward those who plan ahead, deeply understand the point system, and flawlessly execute their strategy. Use this playbook, map out your journey, and make every single year count.